Good evening, baseball fans. How you doing? How you doing? We got some action happening this weekend. We got some movement in the power rankings this week, even in the top 5. We got some teams going up. We got some teams going down. The Astros are kicking the crap out of everyone. The Rays are looking fantastic lately. The Rangers continue to The Rangers continue to collapse before our very eyes. George Kirby is whining about pitching a lot of baseball. George Kirby, what are we doing? The Mariners are slumping a little bit this past week. We got Mike Trout in the rumors. My oh my, let's get to it. Good evening, everybody. How you doing? How you doing? Hello. Just around 100 people in this chat. What is going on? I'm seeing a lot of moderators in here. I'm seeing some members in the chat. I'm seeing a lot of familiar faces in the chat. How you doing, everyone? How you doing? Hope you all had a great week. Hope you all had a great weekend. Man, oh man, you know what else I forgot to mention in the intro? The Yankees were this close to getting no hit today. Oh my goodness, how in the world did the Brewers not pull that one off today? Unbelievable. What a matchup that was. If you went to that game at Yankee Stadium today, you had a treat. You had a pitching duel with Corbin Burnes and Garrett Cole. Almost had a no-hitter. My goodness. Well, the Brewers did throw a 9-inning no-hitter. So, give it to them. But in the end, couldn't pull through. We got the Braves. Got the Braves clinching today. It's clinching season. It's coming up. And what is it? Today's the 10th? Man, oh man, we got some teams that are going to be clinching rather soon, but the Braves the first to do it this year. Mike Trout is in the news. Mike Trout, we already got some trade rumors coming up. The Mets are in the news. We got a lot of news. A lot to talk about tonight. CJ LaChapelle, Super Chat coming in, $5. If the Braves win the World Series this season, do you see AA extending Max Fried's contract this offseason? I was kind of thinking about that. With the Braves, it seems like they like to try and get these guys extended early. The fact that he's coming up pretty quick on free agency kind of makes me wonder what the Braves think about him. When they get these guys, when they're young, they lock them up. Right? They get them extended. Max Fried, not yet. I wonder what the Braves think about that. He's been dealing with injuries in the last couple of years. Maybe it's a wait and see kind of a thing. I don't know. I think it's a wait and see. I think there could be some talks. He's looked great since coming back from the IL. I don't think he's lost since coming back. So I don't see why not. By the end of the day, hey, takes two to tango. Maybe Max Fried wants to go to free agency. Maybe the Braves want to extend him. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he wants to, pull as much leverage as he can. I don't know. I would say, yeah, there'll probably be some talks, but I don't know. Especially with the way pitchers are getting paid these days. Maybe Fried wants to test the market. So we'll have to wait and see on that. Thank you for the Super Chat to start things off. I appreciate it. Everyone, hope you all had a great week. I started off my week with a fantastic Labor Day. I went to the Red Sox-Rays game. Finally, getting a win at Tropicana Field. I don't remember the last time in the regular season I went to Tropicana Field and saw the Red Sox win. I went to the playoffs a couple of years ago. They won there. I believe that was game 2. They just shellacked the Rays in that game, and then they ended up winning the series. But during the regular season, I honestly think the last time I went to Tropicana Field and the Red Sox won a game, I honestly think it was back in like 2014. I think it was John Lester pitched. I really think that's how long it had been. So, hey, great to see a win. Casas getting a homer. Yoshida homering as well. Good pitching from Bayo. Hey, great game. Great game. But everyone, let's get this going here. Let's get this going. Thank you for joining us tonight for Power Rankings. Everyone, I will get to the sponsor around midpoint of the show, but just letting you know, our sponsor is Underdog Fantasy. The link is in the description down below. Everyone, you all know, I know this is a baseball channel, but football season has started. My Patriots already losing today. Goodness gracious, losing to the Eagles. So, hey, it doesn't have to be just baseball. You can try and win some bucks. Could be football as well, so go check it out. Lots of action on football. Underdog Fantasy, their main market is football. They like to have a lot of fun with it, so go check it out. Use my promo code HYDE. You get a double on your first deposit up to $100. I did play some Underdog today, so I will show you all those results later on. And everyone, if you can, the like goal for tonight is 150. Let's hit that like button, hit the bell notification, share the show if you can, subscribe if you're new. Let's get to it here. Let's get to it. I got the music ready. We're going to be starting at number 30, like always. Here we go. All righty. I even got the date correct today. We're good to go. All righty. Starting at number 30. I actually thought about putting the Royals at 30. I thought about it. I really did. I'm going to stick with the A's. Not really much to talk about. Playing a little better lately. Still not ready to move the A's up. I'm still not. You had Sean Newcomb make his first start for the A's. He's been around for quite a bit now, but made his first start for the A's. 4 innings, 1 hit this past weekend. He's actually been pretty good for the A's. He's got 12 innings, a 0.75 ERA this year, and with a career ERA of 4.41. So, hey, Sean Newcomb pitching himself into a role possibly for next year. At number 29, we got the Royals. Star of the show lately for the Royals has been Cole Reagans. Reagans, other than the 6 walks that he gave up today, he really struggled with the command today. He still pitched pretty effectively. 5 2/3 today, 1 hit, 6 Ks. Cole Reagans, man, again, 6 walks today, that's no bueno, but has been pitching really well. He got AL Pitcher of the Month for August, so love me some Cole Reagans. Olivares, man, that dude hit a tank this weekend. 431 feet in Toronto. What's up with all these home runs over the years in Toronto? Just like these mammoth shots. What is it? I remember Manny Ramirez back in the day. He had that just moon shot in Toronto. And then you had, obviously the Jose Bautista home run. He mashed that freaking ball. Everyone talks about the bat flip, but Jose Bautista, that home run, that was a shot, man. Like, that was nasty. But Olivares, man, hitting a bomb in Toronto. Salvador Perez, he was nominated as the Roberto Clemente nominee. Other than that, not much going on with the Kansas City Royals. At number 28, we got the Rockies. They're playing right now against the San Francisco Giants. I believe they are losing that game. Let me just double check that. I saw San Fran was up 6-3. It is still 6-3 in San Francisco. But for the Rockies, you got Eleuteris Montero. He had reached base in 17 games in a row coming into today, so he's been hitting really well. In the second half, he's got an 816 OPS. Not bad. Remember, he was the piece that came back in the Nolan Arenado trade. Victor Vodnik, he made his MLB debut against the Giants on Saturday. He gave up 3 runs, but he struck out a couple. He's ranked number 24 on Pipeline for the Rockies. He's not in the top 30 in Baseball America in their rankings, so I don't know. Victor Vodnik, could he contribute in the future? Yeah, possibly. But other than that, not much else for the Colorado Rockies. We got the Chicago White Sox coming in at number 27. Michael Kopech moved to the bullpen for the rest of the season. They are saying he's going to be in the rotation next year. Grifol saying he will be a starter. Kopech wants to be a starter. Listen, I will take this to the grave. I think Michael Kopech honestly should be the closer for the team, or at least a good setup guy. right? I think that's what Kopech should be. I think his stuff, honestly, you got a hard-throwing guy like that. I don't know, man. There comes a point where it's like you haven't put it together, and it's... Maybe I'm wrong. I think Michael Kopech should be a bullpen guy. That's just my personal opinion. I think his stuff would be awesome in the bullpen. I think he would be a nasty closer. What can you do? But Chris Getz, he has talked more since being named the GM for the White Sox. He's basically saying their goal right now, and for the future as well, they need to find an identity. They need to figure out what they are, but I will tell you what the White Sox need to do. Obviously, they're not a good team this year, but I looked at some of the numbers. With the White Sox, they ranked 28th in offense this year, but a big reason why the White Sox are not very good with the offense. They are dead last in on-base percentage, and they are dead last in walk percentage. The White Sox simply need to get some better at-bats. They need to be tough with the at-bats, right? I think that's what's going to get the White Sox back on track. They need to be more patient at the plate. They got to take more pitches. They got to frustrate pitchers more. I think that's what's going to get the White Sox back on track. If they can start there, I think they could get themselves a bit better over the next couple of years. Starting pitching-wise, they ranked 24th this year. I will say this about the White Sox. When it comes to simply stuff, right, how much movement they're getting on their pitches along with the velocity, they actually rank 9th overall in stuff on Fangraphs. Go check that out if you haven't already. They're using the pitching bot over there on Fangraphs. But so they're a top 10 pitching staff when it comes to stuff. However, when it comes to command, the White Sox are dead last. So they got the nastiness already. They just gotta command their pitches a little better. They gotta throw more strikes. So I think that's gonna get them back on track. It's the same story with the bullpen as well. Good stuff, not great command with the White Sox. So let's see. As for the Nationals at number 26, not too much to talk about. They had a walk-off wild pitch to beat the Dodgers on Saturday. Pretty neat. Jake Irvin, he pitched really well in that game. 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned. Lane Thomas, he had 4 straight games with a home run. Ended up losing the series to the Dodgers. But Lane Thomas, he's been great. At number 25, let's talk some Mets. So they have been in the news, and I'm going to share my screen. David Stearns is the guy for the Mets. I've been saying this for a while. When he left the Brewers, to me, they were, especially the fact they were instantly connected to the Mets, that told me that this guy is going to be their next president of baseball ops. He wanted to take some time off. He wanted to spend time with family. He wanted to kind of get his brain fresh again. Wanted to get the mojo back again because this dude did a lot of good work with the Brewers, working with low payrolls, bringing in talent, helping the Brewers get to the playoffs. And to me, that's what the Mets need. I think the Mets, they need to, remember, look at what they did. Billy Epler, to me, he is not really the kind of guy. Sure, he likes analytics and whatnot, but David Stearns is a guy that can work outside the box more effectively than Billy Epler, in my opinion. And David Stearns, I think, is just more of a modern kind of a guy, like an Andrew Friedman with the Dodgers. Hey, Chaim Bloom haters out there will say what they want, but Chaim Bloom has gotten the farm system back on track. I think the Mets need a guy like that, someone more modern, someone that works more with the analytics today in the game of baseball. David Stearns, I think it's a matter of time. I think as soon as the Mets can announce it, I think they will announce that he is the next president of baseball ops. The Athletic, they had, they had put this article out not too long ago talking about why some rivals say that David Stearns is the ideal fit. Pretty much all these other executives out there, they're saying, with how the baseball world works today in front offices, David Stearns is exactly the guy that the Mets need. And then this past week, we had a tweet from Andy Martino. This was about, 5 days ago. He said here, the way it's been described to me, Stearns Mets is that it's further along than they ever got with Theo Epstein, but not a sure thing yet. This guy is going to be the next president of baseball ops. I think as soon as they are allowed to announce it, I think they'll announce it. So, That's all I got for the Mets, other than the fact that David Peterson had a third straight quality start against the Twins. So, other than that, I think David Stearns is on the minds of Mets fans out there. I do think that's exactly what they need. Moving on to the St. Louis Cardinals. Hey, good offense from the Cardinals. They've been hitting the ball really well. Tyler O'Neill, 246 with a WRC plus over the last 7 games. Wilson Contreras, Nolan Gorman, 3 home runs this week for the both of them. Jordan Walker has a 714 slugging over his last 7. Tommy Edman has a 364 batting average over his last 7 games. Again, you know, the Cardinals are already looking to next year. I think the Cardinals are doing the right thing, playing these young guys like Mason Wynn. You know, he really came up pretty quick. This is what they need to do. They need to play the youth. They need to see what they have for next year. Try out some different things before the end of the year. You know, see what some guys got. That's exactly what the Cardinals need to do. But that's all I got for the St. Louis Cardinals. Good offense this week. They ranked 6th in WRC plus over the last 7 games. And number 23, I got the Pirates. The Pirates were involved in a brawl this past week. Well, I wouldn't call it a brawl. The bench is cleared. You had the Pirates. You had the Braves. You had Ronald Acuna Jr. You had Johan Oviedo. Johan Oviedo, he came inside on Ronald Acuna Jr. And I'm going to say this. Yeah, absolutely you should pitch inside to Ronald Acuna Jr. Absolutely. That dude is mashing everything. If you're a pitcher, man, yeah. Throw inside. Now, don't go for their freaking head. But yeah, throw inside. Make their at-bats uncomfortable. Ronald Acuna Jr. has been so comfortable at the plate this year. That dude is doing everything. So, yeah, what's wrong with throwing a little inside him? Ronald Acuna Jr., he took a little bit of an offense to it. He started chirping back at Oviedo, and Oviedo's basically saying back to him, what are you doing, man? Why are you looking at me? Right? Why are you staring at me? You know, it's kind of weird. I get it. These guys, they don't like when pitchers are coming inside. Maybe he came a little too inside. You know, I think there's a way to go about it when you're throwing inside to someone. He probably came in a little close, but I understood it when he did it. But he did make some comments, Johan Oviedo. He said, "You never wait for a fight, but you have a man right in front of you, and you're saying, 'Why are you looking at me?'" Oviedo said. "If you do that, you're trying to get something out of it. I'm not going to be provoked by what you're doing because I'm trying to be locked in on my game. I'm trying to be smart about it." And then he says here, if you're going to make that scene, make it for a reason. Don't just make a whole lot of noise. Make everyone run to the field and the bench is clear. It shouldn't happen. If you're going to stay chill about it, don't go overboard, I guess is what he said. Get mad and try to hit a homer off of me or hit a single like he did. I think Oviedo had completely the right thought process about it. He's like, hey, I'll pitch inside to you. I'm not going to let you beat me. I'm going to make you uncomfortable in this at bat. Hey, if you want to get back at me, hit a homer off of me, right? So to me, I think that's Acuna should have done that. Acuna needs to understand, because I'm looking at this point of view. You're about to go to the playoffs, man. You need to. I understand Acuna. Yeah, you pitch inside, wants to look back out there. But listen, these guys in the postseason, do you think they're going to give you any sort of pitches that you're going to be comfortable with? No. You better start getting used to some inside pitches, especially with the playoffs coming up, because I guarantee you he's going to get a lot of inside pitches. Some of those pitchers in the postseason, they're going to come after him. They're going to pitch inside like crazy. They're going to make him uncomfortable. He's going to have to make those adjustments. So instead of looking back at the picture about it, figure out how you can make adjustments and produce for your team. That's how I personally think about it. Coming in number 22, we're all waiting for the juicy trade rumors to come back. And we got Mike Trout in the news. I actually just recorded a video earlier. That will probably come out tomorrow. Maybe tonight if I get done with this in time. Possibly. We'll have to wait and see. But let's go to the news with Mike Trout. Oh, Angels fans are feeling it. Good old Bob Nightingale, Mr. Bob, he's got the news. he did this whole article today on, Christian Walker, and he was talking about some other things. Even had something here about the Oakland A's. He's got something here on Matt Holliday. But the main piece of this was Mike Trout. Here is the quote from the article. The Los Angeles Angels, perhaps for the first time, are open to trading all-star outfielder Mike Trout if he indicates to them that he wants out. Trout has exclusive no-trade rights and said recently that he wants to have a private conversation with the front office and ownership about their decision. He did make some comments. Someone asked, hey, what are you thinking here? Are you thinking about a trade this offseason? Mike Trout basically said, hey, no comment. We're not even, I'm paraphrasing. He's like, we're not even there yet. But he did say that he would like to talk with the front office, talk with ownership. Where are they going? I'm going to give you my honest opinion, everyone. I'm going to give you my honest opinion. I'm not just saying this based off of, yeah, I got a channel here. It would be juicy news to come live and talk about a trade and talk about all the rumors. But I honestly think the Angels should trade him. I really do. I honestly think the Angels, they need to just wipe the slate clean. They need to start over. I think they need a whole shakeup in that organization. I think Artie Moreno needs to go. I don't think he's the right guy to lead that organization to any sort of success in the future. I think he needs to get the heck out of town. I think you're okay with Menagian there still. I think Menagian actually, I think he wants to win, but I think he honestly, if I were a betting man, I honestly think Menagian really wants to make moves, right? I think he has an idea of what he wants to do, but I honestly, my personal opinion, I think Artie Moreno is basically just kind of handcuffing him, right? He's saying, this is what I want you to do. This is how I want you to run things. This is the direction that I want to do, where I want to go. I want you to do this. And I think Menagian is just simply, all right, okay. All right, I'll do what you want. All right. Because it's like, come on, like, you're telling me with Ohtani, I mean, you couldn't make any sort of a deal at the deadline. I mean, I understood you were kind of close to the wild card there, but you were kind of in a tough spot at the time. But I think you could have traded him sooner than that. Remember, they were farther out from the wild card at that point. They made a bit of a run there, and then they decided to pull the trigger and, bring in some guys. I can respect that. But a few weeks prior, I feel like they should have made the move. I absolutely think like you should have done something. You could have gotten into some pretty decent prospects for him. I think you could have at least gotten an organization's top two or two of their top 10 prospects for him. I think you absolutely could have gotten something for Shohei Ohtani. And I would guarantee that Menagian probably wanted to make some kind of a move. He probably knows what's going on. He knows the writing on the wall. Anyway, but you are in the dilemma that you're in, and you still have Ohtani. I think you should just let him walk, offer a qualifying offer for him, get the draft pick, right? So you're going to get compensated. And then Mike Trout, I think you got to move him. I think you have to. Yeah, you're going to have to pay some money to get rid of Mike Trout. You're absolutely going to have to eat some of that contract. He is a underwater contract right now. Why? Don't remember, it's not just about the player. You got to get the emotions out of it, right? Mike Trout is amazing. He's going to go down as one of the best players of all time, but he's not getting any younger. He's been hurt a lot over the last few seasons. And most of all, he's getting paid a whopping amount. He's getting paid $35.5 million per year. So it's like a car, right? When you have a car that is worth less than what you owe, right? You're underwater on it, right? It's simply kind of the Mike Trout situation. At least as of right now, if he shows that he's healthy over the next few seasons and he produces like we all know he can, that value will go back up. But right now, at this current point in time, his value is negative by a lot. Baseball trade values, they have it at around negative, I believe, 90 to 95 million. It's going to be a lot. You're going to have to pay, I think, probably about 15 million per year for Mike Trout to get rid of him. That might sound ridiculous, right? For the next, 7 seasons, you're paying $15 million to a team to take Mike Trout. You're going to have to. It's similar to the Nolan Arenado trade, right? At the time, Arenado had a negative value. That value has gone up now with Arenado, but at the time, it was a big hole. This is the same thing with Trout now, but I do think the Angels need to make that move. They're going to get made fun of a lot. People are going to come at them, on Twitter. They're going to be like, "Oh my God, you paid whoever $100 million to take Mike Trout." Yeah, you're going to have to because of the logistics and the economics of his deal and what he is worth. For Mike Trout, I think there's a lot of different teams that would love to have him. I think if they can work out the money, and I think with the Angels, I think they should pay a decent amount so they can get back some prospects in return. So essentially, they would be buying prospects. I think there's a ton of teams out there. Everyone talks about the Phillies. You have that connection there where he grew up in New Jersey, not too far from Philly. He grew up a Phillies fan. He went to the World Series parade back in 2008. He's a big Eagles fan. So you have that hometown sort of a connection there. The one thing I wonder about with the Phillies is they have a lot of guys on this a lot of bigger contracts on this payroll. You got Turner, you got Harper. I mean, Wheeler's going to be a free agent. I think they should try and bring that guy back at least for a couple of years. You got Real Muto, Castellanos, Schwarber, even Walker. Nola's coming off the books. Kimbrel's coming off the books. Lorenzen, he's a rental. He's coming off the books. So, yeah, you do got some money becoming available next year. So I think it's possible that you could add Mike Trout. I mean, but you're going to be having a lot of pretty beefy contracts on this payroll. If the Phillies want to do that, why couldn't they go get him? I think a team like the Texas Rangers is very possible. Everyone's kind of on the Rangers' case right now because they're losing a lot of games lately. But the Rangers, they're trying to win, man, and they're trying to add talent. They're very, very aggressive lately in free agency. Obviously, Seager, Semien a couple of years ago, DeGrom this past year. They brought in Scherzer, Montgomery by the deadline. They're making moves. I could see the Rangers maybe making a play for someone like Mike Trout. I think that's very possible. The Padres, you always have to watch out for because they're always trying to make deals. They're always trying to make moves. AJ Preller, he's always out there. You got Juan Soto is going to be a free agent after next year. So, yeah, I mean, absolutely. I could see the Padres getting in on it. He's already in California, so, that's something to think about. I honestly don't think the Mets will get involved. I don't see that because I think the Mets, they want to get away from bringing in these big contracts. And with Trout, he's not getting any younger. I just feel like the Mets don't really see value. I think they would rather go after Juan Soto instead of Trout. If you're looking at some other teams, maybe the Cubs, right? The Cubs, if you look at what they've been doing over the last couple of years, they've been aggressive. And Cody Bellinger is going to be a free agent. He has the mutual option, but I don't think that's going to be exercised. So he's probably going to be a free agent. So you got Bellinger going into free agency, and with the way he's played this year, he's probably going to get himself a good contract. So could you maybe bring in Trout? They got some money there. It's a bigger market, so they could definitely do something. Honestly, I'll give you a dark horse team. Do you want a dark horse team for Mike Trout? I would probably say it's less likely, but why not the Diamondbacks? The Diamondbacks have a ton of payroll flexibility. They got a lot of young talent there. Mike Trout, remember, he has a no-trade clause, so he can practically say no to any trade. He can practically dictate where he goes. With the Diamondbacks, remember, Mike Trout is more of a low-key kind of a guy, right? The Diamondbacks, to me, are sort of a similar situation when it comes to the market, like the Angels, right? The Angels, they got, obviously, a big fan base there. But when you think of LA, when you think of baseball, you think of the Dodgers, right? The Diamondbacks are kind of one of those teams where, Diamondbacks fans, they love their D-backs, but they don't really get a whole lot of, national attention, right? And the only reason the Angels are getting attention is because they have Shohei Ohtani. So let's just be real about that. So why couldn't the Diamondbacks be a team that go after Mike Trout? They have a lot of payroll. They could use a superstar there. I know you got Corbin Carroll. That's obviously one of your next superstars. But Mike Trout would be a big name to add. Honestly, I mean, you could make some room for him. And I'm going to say one more thing about Mike Trout. I think the key for Mike Trout in the next however many years, especially the next couple of years, I think he needs to be DHing more. I think he needs to kind of get off of his legs a little bit. He's been having a lot of injuries. I honestly think let's play him a little less out in the field. Let's get him some more time at designated hitter. When you're looking at the payroll for the D-backs, you got Lourdes Gurriel Jr. He's going to be a free agent. He's been DHing a lot. When it comes to the outfield, you got obviously Corbin Carroll. You got Tommy Pham, though, who's going to be a free agent. And you got Alek Thomas, right? So I definitely think that. And you do have Drew Jones, who's going to be up eventually, but you'll figure it out. With Trout, he could DH a lot. Honestly, if you're Trout, go play him out in left field too. Let's get the guy kind of, a little less action out in the field. And I definitely think he should play in the field. I mean, he's very good out there, but you want to keep him healthy. So I definitely think the Diamondbacks could be an option. The big reason, payroll flexibility. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. When it comes to other teams, sure, everyone's going to say the Yankees. Everyone's going to say the Dodgers. Those are my teams that I think are the most likely for Mike Trout. So let's get back to it. I just spent a lot of time on that. Listen, everyone, I when it comes to big stories, I see some of you in the chat like, hey, Robbie, speed it up, please. Pick it up, please. Hey, this is a big story, man. I'm going to take my time with it. At number 21, we got the Tigers. Not too much with the Tigers, man. They did have Sawyer. Listen to this name, Sawyer Gipson Long, the number 23 prospect on Baseball America for the Tigers, called up today. Got a win in his first start. 5 innings, 2 earned, 5 Ks. Remember, he came over in the Michael Fulmer trade with the Cubs. He wasn't really amazing in the minors this year. A 4.33 ERA between AA and AAA. He's got really good control, not a lot of velocity, but hey, he pitched well today. Skubal, he pitched well against the White Sox this weekend, 5 scoreless innings. Reese Olson looked great against the Tigers on Friday. I remember they got Reese Olson in the trade for Daniel Norris from the Brewers. He took a no-hitter into the 7th inning. So, hey, Tigers getting some good pitching lately. Deep Fried Ninja, we are not getting Mike Trout because of Ken Kendrick. That's definitely that's something to think about. Listen, I think if a team wants to go add someone like Mike Trout, and if they're not really concerned about the injuries, I think it's always possible you can add someone like Mike Trout. The only thing holding back, I'm not gonna, with Trout. I mean, come on, it's Trout. I don't think one person is gonna, dictate whether or not you can be able to acquire someone like him. I think what it comes down to with Trout, can you have him fit your payroll? Do you want to pay him that much? Especially with, the injuries. Do you think he's worth it? Right? Well, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Moving on. There goes the bottom 10. Let's move into the next tier. Starting at number 20, we got the Cleveland Guardians. They moved down a couple of spots from last week. They're pretty much done. They had their shot. They had a series against the Twins. They could not come through. And, hey, it is what it is. They went for it. They picked up some of these guys, Giolito, Reynaldo Lopez. They made moves. In the end, they just don't got it. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Twins, 3 out of 4 to the Angels. Giolito did look good against the Angels, 9 strikeouts over 7 innings. But hey, Bibee did look really good today. Pitched very strong over 7. But for the Guardians, this is not a whole lot here, man. Not a whole lot. Wait till next year. At number 19, we got the Padres. Okay, I think we can finally officially say the Padres are done. I know a lot of people were, because I've been hanging on to the Padres. I've been hanging on to, could they go on a run? I didn't think it was very likely. But listen, you have to understand where I'm coming from as a Red Sox fan back in 2011 when my Red Sox went 7-20 on the month. They looked so good going into September, and they just completely fell apart. Look at the Atlanta Braves that year. Look at what the Rays did getting in. Look at what the Cardinals did getting in, who ended up winning the World Series. So you're listening to a guy who has that perspective where anything can happen. anything. And the Padres, I was still waiting to see if they could maybe put something together. But I don't, it's over now. It's done. I gave them a chance. They had the talent, but in the end, they don't got the team. That's what this Padres team is going to be. They had the talent, but they didn't have a team. You know, that's what it is. They lacked chemistry. They had injuries this year. The bullpen was taxed. They didn't hit well with runners in scoring position. I think in the end for the Padres, I'm actually going to be coming out with a video soon, how to fix the Padres. I'm bringing back the How to Fix series. I'm bringing it back, everyone. That was one of the first series I did on this channel, and I think I'm ready to bring it back. I got notes ready. I got my plan ready for how to fix the Padres, and I got a plan ready for how to fix the Angels. I'm excited. So be on the lookout for those videos, everyone. But for the Padres, I do think they need to go in a different direction with a manager. Hey, it is what it is. I just feel like, Melvin's not connecting with this team. I think they need to go with someone a little younger, especially with the kind of players that they have. I think they need someone that's going to be able to connect with them a little better, maybe be on their level a little bit more. You know what else I think the Padres need? Padres fans, listen to me on this one. Hear me out. I feel like, I know you've had Flaherty as the hitting coordinator, but you need a hitting coach. You just need like a guy. You need a hitting coach and an assistant hitting coach. They got an offensive coordinator with Flaherty, and then they got 2 assistant hitting coaches. There's too many cooks in the kitchen, if you ask me. I think you just need one flat-out hitting coach, right? That's going to, because to me, the talent's there. You need someone that's going to bring a better approach for the Padres, whether that's what counts to swing on, what pitches to take. You need someone that I think is going to work with these players a little bit more effectively. The talent's there, but I just feel like they're not very effective when it comes to their pitch selection, right? What pitches to swing at, what pitches to take, right? Simple as that. I just think the game plans aren't really there. I think the scouting is not effective with the scouting reports, the pre-game preparations. I feel like that's where the Padres are lacking, and I think they need someone that's going to help these hitters a little better in those situations. The talent's there. Xander Bogaerts, old friend. He has been hitting really well over the last 7 games. Blake Snell is pitching his hiney off. That dude's going to get a fat contract in the offseason. Seth Lugo was looking really good lately until this past weekend. He got roughed up. Pitching was awful today against the Astros. But that's all I got about the Padres. And number 18. Man, everyone see that Yankee game today? Man, that was exciting. Let's actually go pull up the scores here. I got the scoreboard. Man, oh man, let's go take a look here. What a crazy game here. What a crazy game. The Yankees were being no hit through 11 innings today. Crazy. And they still found a way to win. Oswaldo Cabrera broke it up with the double that tied the game. Stan hit the home run to tie it in the 12th. And then Higashioka hit the double to walk it off. I mean, crazy game here for the Yankees today. Great pitching from Garrett Cole. 7 innings, 0 earned, 9 Ks. Hey, no one's going to remember that start from Garrett Cole because Corbin Burns and Devin Williams threw a no-hitter, unfortunately. But as for the Yankees, they lost 2 out of 3 to the Brewers. They won 2 out of 3 against the Tigers. Michael King looked really good against the Brewers. 5 innings, 1 earned, 9 Ks. Michael King has been pitching really well over the last 4 starts. 16 and 2/3 innings pitched, 4 earned. Michael King, look at him, man. Look at him. Burrito's been pitching well. Johnny Burrito. Have they made a shirt for him yet? For Johnny Burrito? I mean, my goodness. It's just like Jonathan Loaisiga, Johnny Lasagna. I mean, Johnny Burrito. It sells itself. But the big news, other than the no-hitter or the broken-up no-hitter today, Jason Dominguez out for the season with a torn UCL. That is awful. Awful, awful. I mean, my goodness. Let's pull this up here. I forgot. I did not hit the button. What is going on here? My computer is being slow. My computer is freezing, everyone. I don't know what is going on right now. This is awful. Jason Dominguez. Torn UCL. What is up with all these torn UCLs, man? What is going on? Everyone's tearing their UCL. Can we stop tearing the UCLs, please? I don't get it. But he was off to a great start since getting called up. Really feel for him, man. He had a 727 slugging coming into today. 3 homers, 5 RBIs. Dude was going off. That's too bad because, you know, this is a guy. This was going to be like one of your starting outfielders for next year. And now he's going to miss the first half of 2024. It's crazy. I think Gleyber Torres had the same thing when he first came up. So that's a bummer, man. Bummer. Absolute bummer. But for the Yankees, hey, you know, you still got a lot of other younger players that you can watch. And let's see what ends up happening with them. But, yeah, this is horrible news because the Yankees everything was feeling really good for the Yankees lately. And then it just came all crashing down with this news. So, but here we go. Let's get back to the next team. At number 17, we got my Red Sox. Hey, I went to the game at Tropicana on Monday. That was fun. Finally, a win at Tropicana Field, but they lost 2 out of 3 to the Rays over the series. Thank goodness I went to the first game. Thank goodness I didn't go to the second or the third game. Losing 2 out of 3 to the Orioles this past weekend. They got the win today. Casas with a big homer. They had 23 hits yesterday on Saturday. My goodness. They were going crazy, but in the end, the Orioles hung on and won that one. They're officially done now. It's come on. You've kind of seen that it's over in that for the Red Sox in the wild card hunt. You know, yeah, they kind of had a little bit of hope there. But I think you kind of knew, right? You're 4 out, 5 out. It was over. I mean, you just knew. You didn't have the pitching depth. Way too inconsistent this year. Unless, I'm sure they absolutely could have gone on a run there at the end, but they just didn't have enough. I really thought maybe they could put it together this year. Maybe they could go on a run, and because I did like the team coming into this year, but in the end, they just didn't have enough depth. The one problem I've been having with my Red Sox, Cedame Rafaela, can this guy start playing some games? You brought this guy up, and Cora was saying, hey, you know, Cedame Rafaela, this guy's going to be more and more of a reserve role, you know, because we're still in the playoff hunt. Why can't you play him even if you're in the playoff hunt? Why? I don't understand that. This dude was hitting great in the games that he has been playing. He was red hot in the minors coming up. Why can't you play him anyway, even if you are in a playoff hunt? I mean, that's some energy to bring to the lineup. Wilyer Abreu, why couldn't he be playing more? He was hitting really well. Tristan Casas, when he first came up last year, was hitting great. Or they're not hitting great, but he was playing a great amount. He was playing every game. I don't know. I will say this, everyone. I will say this before I move on to the number 16 team. I wonder what happens with Alex Cora this offseason. I really do. I'm actually wondering if Alex Cora is going to be with the Red Sox next year. I'm starting to wonder that. Because Cora and Bloom, it seems like Cora's been taking subtle shots at Bloom this year. Remember, there was one quote with Cora saying, you know, it's not about how many prospects we have. It's about how many wins we get. That, to me, was a bit of a shot at Bloom a little bit. I wonder, management and ownership love Cora, but I wonder if Cora, remember, he's got his contract up after next year. I wonder if Cora ends up just walking away. I wonder if they end up just going different directions. I wonder. I'm thinking that's going to be something to pay attention to this offseason. I do wonder if the Red Sox move on and maybe go in a different direction. So let's move on. And one more thing I will say. Jared Carrabis, he did say that he has been hearing people talking. It looks like maybe they're going to be making some moves in the front office. They were connected with David Stearns. So just have to wait and see what ends up happening with the Red Sox. At number 16, we got the San Francisco Giants. Got the San Francisco Giants. Swept by the Cubs. Man, that was a big series for the Giants this week, and they blew it. Absolutely blew it. Winning tonight against the Rockies. Last time we checked, it was 6-3. Did they end up? I'm pretty sure they ended up winning that game. Yeah, so they ended up winning it 6-3. So they ended up sweeping the Rockies. So really an up and down week, but you got swept by the Cubs. You needed to win that series, and they blew it. You got yourself back on track with the Rockies, but there's still 2 games back in the wild card. Let's actually pull up the wild card standings. Those aren't the standings. Where are my standings? Let's go to the wild card here for the National League. We got San Francisco a game and a half out. Game and a half out. They still got a shot. But, man, they really had a chance there against the Cubs. Really did. They couldn't get it done. But they're still in the thick of things. And for the Giants, Patrick Bailey got put on the 7-day concussion list. Joey Bart back up with the Giants. Gotta love it. They have been hitting better lately. 11th in WRC plus over the last 7 games. So J.D. Davis, Wilmer Flores, they have been hot. Starting pitching, bullpen, they got to step it up a little bit. It looks like they got some good pitching tonight. Taking a look at that box score real quick as that's pulling up here. Logan Webb, he looked really good against the Rockies. But Alex Wood, Alex Cobb, they've been getting hit a lot lately. So, Cobb, he looked really good. Almost had that one hitter not too long ago, but not looking great after that. But as for tonight, Mitch Haniger had a 2-run homer. Jock Peterson had a solo shot. Tyro Estrada had a homer tonight. So the offense is definitely picking it back up. They were slumping big time there. But on the mound, you did have Wynn get the start today. 6 innings, 3 earned. He struck out 9. So good. That's what they need. They need guys to start stepping up with the rotation. They've had a lot of injuries in that rotation, man. Friday, they actually had a really fun game against the Rockies on Friday. They were down 4-0. They came back. And then they fell back down again, 7-4. And then they came back and won it again. Came back again and won it by scoring 3 in the 8th. So, hey, the Giants, they had some fight to them this past weekend. You got to love it. At number 15, we got the Cincinnati Reds. And if I were to go back to the standings here, the Cincinnati Reds are also a game and a half out. So the Reds are still fighting. And the Reds, sure, they lost 2 out of 3 this past weekend. But they won a series against the Mariners. And the Mariners, they've been red hot. We'll get to the Mariners here in a little bit. Hey, that's a tough series right there. They won 2 out of 3. They had Hunter Green, Jonathan India, Joey Votto come back from the IL. India, Votto, they homered today. Hunter Green looked great today. 6 innings, 1 hit allowed, 9 strikeouts. So great game for the Reds today. Great game. Offense has been really good lately. 5th in WRC plus over the last 7 games. Friedel, he went 2 for 4 today, had a homer and a triple. Noelvi Marte had been hot. And then, did anyone see this with Noelvi Marte? He was playing catch with Ellie De La Cruz before the game. And I guess he took his eye off the ball, or he wasn't ready, or whatever. And he got hit in the face with a ball from Ellie De La Cruz. And the dude had had some stuff going on with his face, got some little fractures and whatnot, I guess. I think I read that correctly. Or he had some contusions at least. But he had a bloody nose. My goodness. Noelvi Marte, we got to pay attention, man, because he had been hitting really well. Really well. Will Benson, though, today went 3 for 4 with a homer and a double. Hunter Renfroe had his first home run with the Reds this weekend. The pitching, though, sure, Hunter Green did look really good today. But a 5.88 ERA over the last 14 games prior to that. So the Reds need to get more consistent with their starting pitching. Need to get more consistent. So at number 14, we got the Miami Marlins. They have been playing great baseball lately. Let's go back to the wild card standings. The Marlins are half a game out. They're so close. I really want the Marlins to make the playoffs. I'm going to be honest with you. 20 years ago, winning a World Series, they got red hot in that second half of the season, made the playoffs, won the wild card. Then they made it all the way to the World Series against the Yankees. Everyone was picking the Yankees in that World Series, and the Marlins ended up winning it. Josh Beckett pitching his hiney off in that World Series. I just want the Marlins to make it with the 20-year anniversary. I'm just saying. But they've been playing great baseball lately. They're 8-2 in their last 10. They swept the Nationals last weekend. Then they won 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers and the Phillies. That is massive. You won 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers and the Phillies this week. That is massive. 2 of the best teams in baseball. Unbelievable. Offense, middle of the road, 18th in WRC plus over the last 7, but Jorge Soler went to the IL with an oblique strain. So they're really going to have these other guys step up for them, man. They really do. That's going to be key for them. They've been getting some good starting pitching. Jesus Luzardo looked really good against the Dodgers this week. Hey, this is kind of a weird one here because Alcantara went on the IL. He's got a forearm strain. So I think a lot of people were thinking, man, that's a big loss. I will actually give credit here to Foolish Baseball, a.k.a. Bailey. I did not know this. The Marlins this year were 11-17 in Alcantara's starts. 11-17. That's crazy. Alcantara, he's been one of those guys this year where the ERA looks way worse than what his FIP is. So keep that in mind with him. When they're not pitching Alcantara, they're actually 64 and 52. It's pretty crazy that the Marlins are that much better without Alcantara. So let's see if they can keep that going. See if they can keep it going. At number 13, the Rangers are falling like crazy. You got swept by the Astros. And then let me just make sure here that I got the scores all right. Let me just make sure. One second. I just want to make sure I got this stat right. Okay, cool. I do. They gave up 39 runs against the Astros in that series. They got absolutely clobbered in that series. Unbelievable. They did win 2 out of 3 against the A's this weekend. I'll give them that. But it's the A's. They're number 30 on these rankings, right? They're number 30 in many people's rankings. So they should win 2 out of 3. But, whoa, you didn't just lose the series against the Astros. You didn't just get swept either. You got demolished. You gave up 39 runs. That's crazy. Let's go to the wild card standings here because the Rangers, they're still in the wild card, but it's not looking great. We're going to go look at the AL wild card. I mean, they're still there. They're half a game back. But, man, Toronto, they're playing well. The Mariners have been playing better as of late. Well, except for this past week. We'll get to the Mariners shortly. But, man, right now, I got to put my money on the Mariners instead of the Rangers. Half a game, they're right there. I'm just saying. I don't know. It's like they're half a game out, but you don't feel great about them. Let's see if this series against the A's can get them back on track. If we look at the AL West, they're 3 out in the West. Look at the Astros. Remember the Astros were like 6 out at one point? Remember the Rangers were just completely taking control of this division? And the Rangers just completely were just wrecking everyone. And now look at the Astros. 20 games above 500. They've taken over this West. Crazy. But as for the Rangers themselves, with the offense, pretty middle of the road lately. Mitch Garver, he's been hot. Over his last 7 games, hitting 500, a 625 on base, a 1,000 slugging, 3 homers. Marcus Semien, Tavares, they've been hitting well. The problem is the pitching. The starting pitching has been abysmal. Scherzer was awful against the Astros. Can we just stop thinking of Scherzer as like this big game guy? Listen, I've loved some of these starts that Scherzer's been in the past. But come on, man. Like, he did take himself out in a start not too long ago because he said his arm was feeling a little weird. I can respect that. But when you're thinking about Scherzer, it's the same thing, right? End of the season, his arm's not feeling good. you can't really count on the guy. He did look good for the Rangers when first coming over, but it's the same thing. Remember the Dodgers? He had the dead arm against in the Giants series or whatever it was. What can you do? It's a Scherzer. I don't know, man. It just seems like his arm is cooked. 7 earned in 3 innings against the Astros. Montgomery didn't look great against the A's. 5 earned, 5 2/3 innings. They need better pitching. The bullpen was horrible there for a while. Starting pitching was actually good, even during this cold spell. But now they're not looking great. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what to think of this Rangers team right now because they looked really good. I was one of the first people to hop on that bandwagon. I'm like, all right, this Rangers team, they're going to kick the crap out of you. They're going to get some okay pitching, but they're going to kick the crap out of you. And that was working for a while, and now it's not. So I like the Mariners more than the Rangers. We'll get to the Mariners here soon, but I don't know. In other news, in the minor leagues, Jack Leiter has not looked great in the minors, but over the last couple of starts, he's starting to look okay. They've actually done a lot of work with his windup, his mechanics, right? They've kind of shifted around like where he's positioning himself. They're kind of slowing down his delivery a little bit so he can try and throw some more strikes. And it's actually paying off. He's only given up 3 earned in his last 2 starts in the minor leagues. So could we be seeing Jack Leiter getting back on track? So let's wait and see. But for the Rangers, that's not going to help them now. They need these guys to really start stepping up. Here we go. Number 12. We got the Chicago Cubs. They swept the Giants. They took care of business. And then they lose 3 out of 4 against the Diamondbacks. They were looking so good. And then they just blew it against the D-backs. They still have the second wild card spot. Let's go take a look at that. Here we go. So they're two up on the D-backs right now. So the Cubs, they're still looking all right. But, kind of a bummer that they did not take care of business against the Diamondbacks. So, but, hey, they're still in okay shape. As for the starting pitching, Justin Steele, I think is cementing himself in the Cy Young race. Let's go take a look here at the leaderboards when it comes to the pitching. Justin Steele right now, he's looking great. Wow, he pitched great this weekend. Right now, he is 5th in Fangraph WAR. He's got a 2.49 ERA. I actually think that leads. Let me go to the starting pitching. And let me go to qualified innings. So, yeah, Justin Steele has the lowest ERA in the majors right now. And remember, when it comes to the voting for MVP and Cy Young and everything, they're looking at stats like ERA. They're looking at wins. They're looking at strikeouts. They're not looking at it at the more projection-based numbers like FIP and XFIP and xERA. Maybe some of them are a little bit. But when it comes to the voting, you're looking at ERA, you're looking at strikeouts, you're looking at WHIP, you're looking at wins. And right now, he's checking all the boxes when it comes to Cy Young voting. I think he's going to win it. You got Blake Snell. Snell is definitely leading him when it comes to strikeouts, but Snell is also walking a lot of guys. As to the wins and losses, Snell is 13-9. Obviously, like you all know, the wins and losses don't really mean much to me. Maybe like a tiny bit, but like not really. Steele has a 16-3 record. I mean, when you got a record like that, that's pretty good, right? His strikeouts, I think, look fine. Solid. Under 2 walks per 9. I think Justin Steele is going to win this Cy Young. If he just holds steady for the rest of the year. He's got what? A couple, like 2-3 more starts. So I think if he can just keep pitching well, I think this is his Cy Young to lose. But for the other guys, Assad, Wicks, Tyone, they've been pitching great. They've been getting great starting pitching over the last couple of weeks. As for the offense, they're middle of the road. They rank 15th over the last 7. But Seiya Suzuki, red hot. 464 on the batting average over the last 7 games with a 483 on base and 893 slugging. A 269 WRC+. Seiya Suzuki, welcome to the Seiya Suzuki show, everyone. He's been great. Couple of homers, 9 RBIs as well. Hey, but for the Cubs, you gotta take advantage, man. When you got the Diamondbacks right there, sure, it wasn't like a make or break, for them currently. They still have the second wild card, but you really could have pushed yourself up further in that wild card race. You really could have separated yourselves, but in the end, the Diamondbacks still hanging by. Hey, you could see the Diamondbacks maybe get that second wild card. You got to win those series, man. At least split. You lost 3 out of 4. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Everyone, before I get to the top 10, just real quick, want to go over our sponsor for tonight. Don't forget, everyone, hit that like button for me. The goal tonight is 150 likes. If you can help us get there, I will love you forever. Hit the bell notification. That way you know I go live every single time. I also uploaded a video this past weekend. Go check that out. Go check it out. I had a video on the most surprising player for each team. If any of the new subscribers from that video are here, welcome to the channel. I appreciate you joining. Share the show, everyone, before we get to the top 10 if you can. And hey, any new subscribers, subscribe if you're new. But let's get to our sponsor. It is Underdog Fantasy. Promo code is HYDE. Link is in the description down below. When you use my code, you get a double on your first deposit up to $100. Everyone, I stunk on Underdog this week, man. I mean, my goodness. I made a few bets. I made a few different bets. I went $10 on one, $10 on another. I played Pick'ems this week. I went $20 on another. I did win $30, so that was pretty cool. But didn't do very good when it came to football. Yeah, I bet on some football this week. I did pretty good with my baseball bets. I got 2 out of 5 right. And actually, I went with Cole Reagans today. I bet that he would get less than 2 earned runs. He got 2 earned runs. So I broke even on that. That was a push. So I got 2 out of 5 correct, and I got a push. But I needed to get at least 4 out of 5 to get the win. So pick'ems are great. Definitely a fun way to play, especially with football now. There's so many different ways you can play pick'ems, so many different players that you can go with. We got Monday Night Football tomorrow night. We got the Bills. We got the Jets. And don't forget, we got drafts as well. Daily drafts are awesome. If you're not into the whole, draft your own team for the whole year kind of a thing, you want to just go more of a daily thing, especially with football now. You can do it Thursday nights, Friday, or no, there's no games on Fridays. Eventually Saturday at some point, right? Sunday, obviously, and then Monday. And then baseball, obviously. Hey, you can do daily drafts every single day. You got $3, $5, $10. But go check it out, everyone. Underdog Fantasy. Very, very grateful for them sponsoring this channel. And I've just been enjoying, making some bets. Pretty fun. Pretty fun. Go check it out. You get a double on your first deposit if you use my code HYDE. Link is in the description down below. Let's get to it here. Let's get to it. Top 10. Top 10. Here we go. At number 10, I got the Minnesota Twins. Good week for the Twins. They're playing good baseball lately. 2 out of 3 against the Guardians. 2 out of 3 against the Mets. Hey, they were scoring some runs this week. 28 runs in the first 2 games against the Guardians. 13 runs in the first 2 against the Mets. Man, oh, man. Man, oh, man. Deep Fried Ninja, what happened to number 11? Did I not do number 11? I went with number 11. Hold on. Oh, did I do number 11? Wait, why did I? Oh, I know why I didn't do number 11. Oh, man. Potato brain kicking in. I'm so sorry. You know why? I'm thinking I was doing it in my head. I went with the Diamondbacks at number 11. I'm so sorry, everyone, because I was talking about the Diamondbacks. So Hold on, give me a second. Let me get readjusted here. Okay, the Diamondbacks. I'm so sorry, everyone. Real quick, I'll get through this one. But I was just ranting about the Cubs. You need to win those kind of series. Really separate yourselves in the standings. But for the Diamondbacks, hey, good for them keeping themselves close to the Cubs because, hey, maybe that second wild card is in reach now. Big series win for them. Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, they look great. 21st in WRC Plus, though, over the last week. Corbin Carroll, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., Ketel Marte, they've been hitting well, but these other guys in the lineup need to step up. Good pitching, though. Like I said, Gallen, Kelly look really good against the Cubs. Gallen looked great against the Chicago Cubs. Complete game shutout, 9 strikeouts. Merrill Kelly, 1 earned against the Cubs, 5 2/3. Even Kevin Ginkel out of the bullpen's been pitching great. He improved his record to 8-0. Got the win on Saturday. Ryan Nelson was solid. Diamondbacks are just playing some good baseball lately, winning both of their series. They also won 2 out of 3 against the Rockies. But a big series win for the Cubs. They are now knocking on the door for the top 10. Knocking on the door for the top 10. Back to the top 10. I had the Twins at number 10. At number 9, we got the Toronto Blue Jays. Hey, beating up on some bad teams this week. The Blue Jays needed that. 2 out of 3 against Oakland. Sweeping the Royals. Let's go take a look at the standings here for the American League. Wild card. Blue Jays got the number 2 wild card. All of a sudden, the Blue Jays are back in it. Remember, they were on the outside looking in not too long ago, and the Blue Jays are back in it. So they're holding the 2nd spot as of right now. So if the playoffs started today, it would be the Rays and the Blue Jays in the first round. That would be a good first round or the good wild card round matchup. That would be awesome. So I have to wait and see how this plays out. But the Blue Jays looking pretty good. 8th in WRC Plus over the last 7. And you know what? Honestly, I got to pull up their Fangraph page here because this team has been crazy over the last 7 games. Let's go pull this up. Look at these numbers. I mean, my goodness. Over the last 7 games, these guys are hitting, man. Davis Schneider, this dude is a madman, and you can't stop this guy. Hitting .294 over the last 7, .478 on base, a .706 slugging, a .217 WRC plus. George Springer, he's hitting homers, he's driving in runs. He's got a .609 slugging over the last 7. Vlad Jr. hitting very well lately, .545 on the slugging over the last 7, hitting .364. Even Kevin Biggio's hitting pretty well. Even Alejandro Kirk is getting on base. Great offense lately for the Toronto Blue Jays. So, when it comes to the pitching, starting pitching has been very good. Gausman, Bassett, they're pitching great. They're a combined 4-0 over each of their last few starts. Great pitching. Barrios was good today. Hey, just saying. Just saying. The Blue Jays, I already know. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this before I get to it because I already know I'm gonna get comments about it. Hey, you're probably wondering, well, the Blue Jays are in front of the Mariners right now. You know, in the wild card, why aren't the Blue Jays? Why are they behind the Mariners? Right? Listen, I think the Mariners are a good team. I think they just had a bad week. All right. I was one of the very few. I think I might have been the only one that put the Mariners at number 2. I still think people are fuming over that. Still think they're fuming. But right now for the Blue Jays, yeah, you beat up on some bad teams this week. But we need to see a little bit more out of the Blue Jays. And the Mariners, we'll get to them again in a little bit. But we need to see if they can get back on track too. So, just saying. Oh, Jack Crick. Robbie is a clown. Oh, well, Jack Crick, then why are you here? Why are you here, my friend? Why are you here? I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I mean, I know I got a potato here for a face, but why are you here? I'm just saying. There's other channels. You can go watch those. Here we go. At number 8. We got the Phillies at number 8. Winning 2 out of 3 against the Padres. But then they lost 2 out of 3 against the Marlins. Oh, man. I mean, come on. What are we doing here, Philly? Great for the Marlins. But the Phillies, they really got to get themselves back on track. Ninth in WRC plus over the last 7. Offense has been good. Schwarber, red hot over the last 7 games. 789 on the slugging. 246 WRC plus. You know what? I got the offense here pulled up. Let's actually go to this. Let me pull up the Phillies. And, wow. I mean, these guys, a few of these guys are just going crazy. Look at Schwarber here. 789 on the slugging. Trey Turner, 750 on the slugging over the last 7 games. Schwarber's got 3 homers. Turner's got 2 homers. Stott is hitting very well. Real Muto, he's driving in runs. He's got a 579 slugging over the last 7. But Bohm, Castellanos, and Harper, these guys are cold. So they got to get it going. As for the pitching, Zach Wheeler, Taijuan Walker, they're looking great. Nola, though, he is so inconsistent this year. I'm really worried about Nola for the playoffs. If he gets himself right by the playoffs, I think the Phillies are going to be good. All right? I'm going to say this right now about the Phillies. Here we go. I'm telling you right now, if the Phillies get themselves back on track, right? If they just had a series loss here to the Marlins, if they get themselves right by the playoffs, they got the pitching to make a run again. They do. I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, that was last year's story. They had their run last year. Listen, how many times, Braves fans, don't hate me for this one. But how many times have we seen the best team in baseball, the easy pick, and they go down, right? How many times have we seen that with the Dodgers? We saw it with the Braves last year. How many times have we seen it? Now, I'm not saying that the Braves are going to get, knocked out early, but you have to remember with the playoffs, it's all about matchups. It's all about how well you can execute your game plans, right? Your pre-game plan, right, against certain pitchers, right? Listen, you don't got a whole season to work with. You got the playoffs. And if you run into some good pitching, I'm sorry, good pitching is going to beat good hitting every single time. That's just my own personal belief. I will always feel that way. If you run into this Phillies team and these guys are pitching, they can go on a similar run to what they did last year. I'm sorry, but I know Nola doesn't look great. That doesn't mean that he can't be by the playoffs. Wheeler, I'm counting on that guy. I think he's going to be fine. I'm just saying, don't just pick the Braves just because they're playing great baseball this year, playing amazing baseball this year. But we all know how the playoffs go. Every single year, it feels like there's that one team that you want to pick, and then they blow it, right? And they just don't get it done. The Phillies are that team. They could do it again. I mean, we'll have to wait and see, obviously. But I'm just saying, don't sleep on Philly. Don't sleep. And as for another team, the Brewers are this weird team, man, that I just wonder, are they just going to be like this team in like the first round and they just get by them? Like, what if they run into the Dodgers, right? So right now, if we were to look at the standings, right, for the National League. So right now, you got the Braves who would go up against the 4 and the 5, right? Or whoever wins the 4 or the 5. So let's say the Phillies beat the Cubs. You would have the Braves and the Phillies again. And then you would have the Brewers and the Diamondbacks. I mean, that would be a pretty fun series, honestly. A best out of 3. Corbin Burns, Peralta going up against Gallen and Kelly. But the Brewers could win that. And then they would go up against the Dodgers. I know the Brewers, they would use up their pitching in that wild card series. But the Dodgers, they're pretty thin on pitching. And we'll get to the Dodgers here in just a little bit. But I wonder if the Brewers could knock off that Dodgers team if they were able to get by the Diamondbacks. The Marlins, the Marlins, could they end up getting that third wild card? Maybe. They got pitching. But this Brewers team, man, there's just something about this team because I've been kind of against them all year. And I just feel like because I've been against them this year, they're just going to make me look silly. I just wonder if that's going to happen, right? I don't know. You know, yeah, sure. Should the Dodgers, if they play the Dodgers in that division round, should the Dodgers win that? Yeah, they should. But I wonder if this Brewers team is like that weird team that just gets by, right? And they make it to the championship round. We've seen many teams like that in the past where it's like, how the heck did this team get to the NLCS, right? But as for the Brewers, we talked about the no-hitter earlier, had the 11-inning no-hitter today. Fantastic job by the Brewers. Ended up losing the game, but they won the series. The offense, 19th in WRC plus over the last 7 games. Christian Yelich, I had him as my most surprising Brewer this year on my video that I uploaded yesterday. Go check it out if you haven't. Sorry for the cheap plug. But Christian Yelich, he's been great this year. He's been hitting very well this year and well lately. Mark Canha, red hot in the last 7. 429 with the batting average. 538 with the on base. 571 with the slugging. Canha's hot. Sal Frelick today. Did everyone see that catch that Frelick made today? Holy cow, what a catch he made. Go check that out. Go check it out. Sal Frelick saving the no-hitter today. Holy cow, man. He made a catch for the ages. Woo! Saved it. But he's been hitting really well, too. Willie Adames, a couple of home runs in the last 7 games. They've been getting great pitching. Corbin Burns looked great today. Devin Williams, he completed the 9-inning no-hitter. Right? Woodruff looked really good against the Pirates. Peralta looked okay against the Pirates, had the no decision. But this Brewers team, I wonder if this could be that weird team that somehow makes it through to the Final Four. We'll have to wait and see. At number 6, the Astros, as you can see in the title, they are just absolutely wrecking everyone. They are just going nuts. They're killing everyone, scoring runs left and right. They wrecked the Rangers, 39 runs in 3 games. That's incredible. The Astros are on fire, winning 2 out of 3 against the Padres. They scored a ton of runs today, 12 runs today. Goodness gracious. I mean, I got to pull up the offense with the Astros here because they have the number 1 offense in the last 7 games. I mean, let's look at these numbers. Look at these numbers. Yordan Alvarez hitting 400 over his last 7. Jose Altuve, he had 5 home runs in 2 games. He had 3 home runs in the first 3 innings. And the game before, he had 2 homers. Jose Altuve is going crazy. Bregman is hitting very well. Dubon is hitting well. Pena's hitting well. Jose Abreu has 13 RBIs in his last 7. I think he actually drove in a couple more today. They're going crazy. The Astros are firing on all cylinders, and that's even without Kyle Tucker. But Kyle Tucker has a 436 on base over the last 7 games. I mean, come on. The Astros are going crazy. They need to get more consistent pitching, though. Valdez has been looking good. Verlander's 2-1 in his last 3 starts. Actually, let's go to the game here today. Let me pull up the box score because they did get some good pitching today. So France got the start today. Let's go to the box. He went 6 innings. He did walk 5, but he only gave up a run. So France, hey, that guy's been pretty underrated for the Astros this year. So he stepped up when they needed them to. Because, again, they've been getting some inconsistent pitching. But the Astros offense, you don't got to worry about that offense. Let's get to the top 5. Top 5. Everyone, hit the like button for me. The goal tonight is 150 likes. Let's get to it here. Let's get to it. Number 5. We got the Dodgers. On the field, losing 2 out of 3 to the Marlins, but then they won their series against the Nationals this weekend. But the big story with the Dodgers is Julio Urias. Oh my. I was at the Rays Red Sox game on Monday at Tropicana Field. I was actually eating before the game. I was having a wonderful steak sandwich It was fantastic. One of the best steak sandwiches I've ever had. And all of a sudden, the news broke that Julio Urias was arrested for domestic abuse. And I guess there's video that that law enforcement has that proves it. So, I mean, reading here, in a new update on the case, let's go here, DodgersNation.com. In a new update on the case involving Dodgers pitcher Julio Urias, ESPN has reported that authorities investigating the altercation have acquired video of the incident. Urias was arrested last Sunday following reports of a physical altercation between a man, Julio Urias, and a woman outside BMO Stadium in LA. A bystander reportedly recorded the incident on their cell phone, and that footage has been handed over to the Department of Public Safety. I mean, what in the world? It says here, DPS Assistant Chief Chris Carr told ESPN's Paul Levine that a civilian captured the incident on a phone. So he was placed on paid leave, not expected to return. He was already having a pretty bad season to his usual standards. And now this, and he's a free agent after this year. He was supposed to have a bobblehead night. That was canceled. This is his second time suspended or getting suspended for under the domestic violence, sexual assault, and child abuse policy. Obviously, I mean, hey, if there's video evidence of it, my goodness, I almost dropped my glass. If there's video evidence, I mean, what else is there to say? I don't know what else there to say. I think it's disgusting. I think if a man ever lays their hands on a woman, shame on you. Especially a second time. Like, hey, you know, here in America, you know, and many places around the world, second chances, we like giving people a second chance. You had your second chance. You blew it. I'm sorry, man, but like, come on. Like, come on. Like, that's so crazy. Yeah, I think it's disgusting. I think if a man ever lays his hands on a woman, that's awful. Like, no. There's no room for that at all. Goodness gracious. You know, come on. I don't know. But as for his future, I think at this point, I don't see how in the world he's going to be able to play next year. I don't see how. How could he possibly play next year? I mean, he's going to be a free agent. Who would want to touch him? Who would want to sign him? I don't see why anyone would want to sign him. You know, because he wasn't even having a great season. I think, honestly, he's going to need to step away from the game for a while. I think he's going to have to take a year off. He's probably going to have to go play in Japan. He's going to have to go play in another league. He's got to baseball is not his main priority right now. Obviously, you know, all the legal issues are his main priority right now, but himself is the main priority. This guy needs help. This guy has got to get himself right. I'm sorry, but like it's inexcusable. I don't know what else to say. I think we can all agree that there's no room for it. As for the Dodgers, in other news, Walker Buehler, it was looking like he was going to be making his way back, and all of a sudden the Dodgers said, hey, you know what? Walker Buehler, he's not coming back this year. He'll be back next year. He was pitching, it looked like he was pitching pretty well on his rehab assignment. His stuff was looking pretty good, but the Dodgers were saying that they weren't thinking he was progressing as much as they liked, and they didn't want to push him, and they didn't want to force it. So they're just going to take it safe, and they're going to wait till next year. So Walker Buehler not going to be back for the playoffs. So as for the Dodgers in the postseason, this is my point when it comes to if they do end up running into the Brewers, if the Brewers are able to make it past the wild card round, listen, is this Dodgers pitching staff going to be enough? I mean, if we're looking here, Kershaw, well, the thing about Kershaw, I mean, is he going to be able to pitch well in the playoffs? He's had a history of not pitching well in the playoffs. But is he going to be healthy? That's someone you never know what you're going to get with Kershaw when it comes to his health. You got Lance Lynn, and he hasn't been amazing. You got Bobby Miller, who's having a good rookie season. You know, sure, they've had some, Ryan Pepio. He did look really good in his last start. Sheehan has had his moments this year. They got some good young pitching, but are these guys ready for the playoffs? When you're looking at the veteran guys, Kershaw is a big question mark. Lance Lynn, can you really count on Lance Lynn? I'm worried about the Dodgers because I'm thinking when it comes to postseason baseball, you got to have some good starting pitching. Are they going to have enough? I don't know. They're going to have to get really creative. They've got some guys here in this bullpen. Red Sox legend Ryan Brazier. Hey, that guy's just been carrying that bullpen now. Evan Phillips has been great. So they're going to have to get really creative. This starting pitching worries me. I'm worried about this Dodgers team. Very worried. I don't know. I think if the Brewers... I'm not going to count the Brewers out. If they make it to that next round, I won't count the Brewers out, even if they do use Corbin Burns and Peralta in the first two games, right? Because then you would still have Woodruff, right? The Brewers could figure it out. If they made it to that first round against the Dodgers, or the division round, they could figure it out, right? If they could get Woodruff like a game one, if they can get a good start out of him, you can get back to Burns and Peralta. So... I'm just saying. The offense has been good. They're getting good offense. 7th in WRC plus over the last 7 games. Outman hit his 19th homer today. Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, you got to love what they've been doing. I did pick Jason Hayward as my most surprising player for the Dodgers this year. He's been good from the left side. You got some other guys, obviously, in this lineup. I mean, it's a good lineup. Muncy, obviously. Will Smith has been a little cold lately. But, I don't know. You can't just rely on Betts and Freeman. You got to get everyone clicking. So, let's see. At number 4, I got the Mariners. I've dropped the Mariners down a couple of spots. Bad week for the Mariners, man. They were red hot there, and they just completely shut it off this past week. Losing 3 out of 4 to the Rays. Losing 2 out of 3 to the Reds. Just saying now. And now you're in the 3rd wild card spot. You're a couple of games now out in the West. The offense. Now, they got a few guys that are hitting in this offense. Julio Rodriguez, he's got 5 homers over his last 7 games. 677 slugging. Cal Riley, couple of homers. 194 WRC plus over the last 7. Ford, 3 homers, 5 RBIs. Hernandez, pretty well with the batting average, 333 over the last 7, 400 on base. Suarez, France, Crawford, they've been cold. So, the Mariners, I know all of you are probably thinking here, well, the Astros are in first place. The Mariners are playing great baseball prior. I'm going to give it one more week. And the Mariners, this is their chance. If the Astros keep doing what they're doing, and the Mariners, I'll say this. If the Astros win both of their series this week, who do the Astros got? Let me go check out the schedule for the Astros. Remember, I go week to week, right? And I don't just take teams out of the top 5 just like that. I like to give it a couple of weeks. I like to let things marinate. Ask Cubs fans about that, because I had Cubs fans saying, why aren't you putting the Cubs in the top 10? They've been great. And I said, one more week. And then the Cubs ended up having kind of just a meh week the next week. And I was like, where are all the Cubs fans, right? So I like to give it some time. But the Astros, the Astros got a couple of easy series this week. You got the A's and you got the Royals. If the Astros take care of business there, and the Mariners, let's go to their schedule. You got the Angels at home, so that's definitely winnable. And then you got the Dodgers. So the Mariners, they got a bit of a tougher schedule. But if the Astros, let's say they just clobber these next couple of series against the A's and the Royals, and then the Mariners, they just kind of don't show up in these next two series, I'll flip-flop them. I'll switch them. I absolutely will. I know a lot of people are going to come at me in the comments like, "Oh, you got the Mariners in front of the Astros, or the Astros are in first place." Listen, to me, it's not just about where you are in the standings. I'm looking at numbers. I'm looking at stats. But I also don't go week to week, right? I like to give it some time. All right, so don't even waste your time putting a comment like that, because if the Astros, if they are what they've been doing, they will easily go take that spot. Easily. But I'm giving the Mariners another week. Giving them another week. The starting pitching has been looking great. Logan Gilbert, Castillo, they've been pitching well. Bryce Miller did take the L today. But let's talk about George Kirby. Noah Argo, this is him trying to cover his butt. I guess so. I don't know. I guess. I mean, I'm just trying to be rational. Just trying to think with a rational mind. I like to be patient with things. If that's me trying to cover my butt, well, all right, I guess that's what you call covering your butt. So, I don't know. I'm just not jumping the gun. I know a lot of people out there like to jump the gun, right? I'm not jumping the gun just yet. So, George Kirby. Let's talk about George Kirby. What in the world, man? Look at these comments here from George Kirby. I couldn't believe I even saw this. I'll say this because I think Mariners fans are going to come to his defense. But Kirby, man, he just said some weird comments. Corey Babcock, you jumped the gun when you put Seattle at 2. No, I did not jump the gun, actually. Because the Mariners, when it comes to the way I look at my numbers, the Mariners had been a top 5 team for over a month. And I had the Mariners at one point not even in my top 10. So you can say I jumped the gun, but I actually didn't, because the way I put together my numbers, which doesn't even mean anything, they had been a top 5 team according to WRC+, according to FIP, according to XFIP, and a whole bunch of other things. Strength of schedule. The Mariners at one point, I believe in the third week in July, had been, I think, number 4 or 3 on my rankings. And I didn't even put them there. I think I had them outside of my top 10 at that point. So you can think I'm jumping the gun, but I wasn't, right? I could have done it way sooner. And I actually took my time on it. So anyway, George Kirby, he said here in a post-game, the post-game with the reporters, I wish I wasn't out there for the 7th, to be honest. I was at 90 pitches, and I didn't think I needed to go anymore. That's wild. I have never seen a pitcher say that. That's crazy. I wish I wasn't out there for the 7th? I don't know, man. Maybe I just grew up when I grew up watching baseball, mostly in the 2000s, but I'm coming from an era where you had guys like Pedro, Clemens, Randy Johnson, Curt Schilling, Andy Pettit, these big time starting pitchers, big name starting pitchers that came up in big spots. Whoa. I don't know. This is weird. Because he did say later on, I don't know if he said this the next day, but he did say that he kind of regretted making these comments because it's usually very hard to get the ball out of his hand when the manager comes to the mound. So he said this was kind of out of his, what he usually thinks. But dude, where I think this actually came from, I think he was actually pretty frustrated. I think he just kind of let it get to him a little bit. In the end, though, he said what he said, and it's just, I don't know. I just never thought I would see a pitcher say this, or any player. I wish I wasn't out there. To me, this comes, I think, from just the heavy analytics. Listen, I love the analytics. I love the numbers. But whoa, I think there comes a point in time where, not even a point in time, it should be every point in time you're going out there and competing. You want the ball every single time. I remember this. I was playing in a game. I forget where I was playing. Where was I? I don't remember. I don't remember if it was when I was in JV on high school or in high school. I don't remember, but I remember I convinced the coach to leave me in the game. Right? Completely convinced him. I said, listen, I got this. I'm fine. Let me just throw one more guy. Right? And he's like, all right. What'd the next guy do? Hit an absolute shot off of me. Right? Absolute shot. I could have come out of the game, and I didn't. So it definitely proved him right. But I knew, too, when I said, give me one more guy, I knew I was pretty much cooked. Like, I was done. It was over. Like, but the competitor in me wanted to stay in the game. It absolutely didn't work out because the next guy hit an absolute tank off of me. I will always remember that. It was actually kind of just almost funny, right? Because I was like, yeah, I probably should have come out of the game, right? But at the time, like, no. And even after that, it was still like, no, I go back to that. I think back about that. No, I absolutely wanted to stay in that game. Like, I don't regret. Should I have come out of the game? Yeah, I probably should have. But did I want to? No, I did not. I wanted the ball. Yeah, it definitely backfired. But that was the competitiveness that I had. It's just so crazy seeing a quote like this. Like, I don't know. I can maybe understand. Maybe he just felt like he wasn't at his best at that point in time, so maybe he should have come out. I think he could have just worded it better. I feel like he meant one thing, but he kind of just said it horribly, right? That's what I think. And he's definitely getting cooked for it. You got a lot of these other guys like Roger Clemens. Who was someone else that said something about it? Mark Mulder, I think, said something. And I think they're just like, what? Like, this is crazy. Anyway, I think these were horrible comments. I don't think he meant exactly what he said, right? I do think he wanted to stay out there, but I think he probably thought he probably wasn't the best option at that point in time. So either way, I think he could have gone about this a lot better. But as for the Mariners, not playing great lately. Not playing great. Let's see if they can get back on track. If they don't, they're going to fall out of the top 5. So at number 3, we got the Rays. We've got to put the Rays in front of the Mariners. They just won their series against them. And the Rays won 2 out of 3 against my Red Sox. Thank goodness I got to go to a win against the Rays. I actually got to go to a Red Sox win at Tropicana Field. But, hey, they're not too far out in this American League East. Let's go take a look at the standings. Now, yeah, they got a wild card locked up. But, let me go to the East. Hey, they're 3 out in this East. They got the Orioles next weekend for 4. I'm just saying, got the Orioles for 4. They could essentially still win this division, right? They're getting some great pitching lately. Tyler Glasnow looked really good against the Red Sox. 14 strikeouts. He's got 4 earned over his last 3. Savali, the game I was at, he struck out 12. The Red Sox couldn't do anything against him. Eflin, he's been looking pretty good. He picked up the win today. Listen, I'm telling you, the Rays have a pretty decent 3 for the postseason. You got Glasnow, Eflin, and Savali. That's not bad. I think the Rays, they could definitely do some damage. They got a top 3, and they got a bullpen now that's been pitching well. And this offense, is it me or is this team more together now that since Wander Franco hasn't been there? They just seem like a completely different team. They seem more loose. They seem like they're together. Is that just me? Am I the only one noticing that? I mean, not just because of the wins and the losses, but just kind of like the way they're carrying themselves out there. They look like they're just having fun. They're confident. All right. They're just saying a lot of things that just make them look like they're very together. Right. I don't know. The Rays seem like they have they got like some more camaraderie going on there. Paredes, he didn't play today. He got hit in the hand on a pitch, so he's day to day. Brandon Lau had the walk-off home run against the Red Sox in Game 2. But, hey, everything's looking pretty good right now with the Rays playing winning baseball. Could they once again, could they get back to where they were in the beginning of the year where they were just, no one wanted to play them? If they get back to that for the playoffs, oof, watch out for the Rays. At number 2, I got the Orioles. Hey. Orioles look good against my Red Sox this weekend. They did lose today, but they won the series. They swept the Angels. Again, they're up in the AL East by 3 games. Got the Orioles and the Rays next weekend. That's going to be a great series. This offense is going crazy. Very good offense lately. Let's go take a look at the Orioles. Here we go. Santander, Hicks, Aaron Hicks. Picked him as my most surprising player for the Orioles this year. Had a lot of people saying Ryan O'Hearn. To me, I think Aaron Hicks has been more surprising, and I'll tell you why. Ryan O'Hearn, I remember going back to the offseason. I remember looking at Ryan O'Hearn's advanced numbers, and he actually had some pretty good advanced numbers last year. So I remember kind of coming into this year, I'm thinking, Ryan O'Hearn could actually be pretty good. All right, so for me personally, I'm not surprised. Maybe I'll take that back. Yeah, of course, I'm a little surprised at what Ryan O'Hearn has done this year. He's definitely put up some really good numbers. Probably way better than what most people thought. For me, though, with what Aaron Hicks, with where he was, he looked cooked. He looked done. He looked like he was at the end of the road. And the way this guy just resurrected his career, amazing. Like, he has been awesome. Man, I mean, look at these numbers over the last 6 games prior to today. Hitting .429, a .520 on base, .619 slugging, 8 RBIs. Oh, what a great story for Hicks, man. Henderson, 9 RBIs. He's been great. Westberg has been hitting great. Santander, he's been hitting great. Hey, Rushman had a home run at Fenway the other night. So, Orioles offense, man, looking good. Starting pitching, they're 20th overall in the last 2 weeks, but a 3.72 ERA over that time, a 4.77 FIP. So that still worries me about the Orioles a little bit. So, either way, though, they're playing great baseball. And last but not least, who else? The Atlanta Braves. They're playing great. 4th in WRC plus over the last 7. Matt Olson's been red hot. I mean, can we look at these numbers with Matt Olson? Holy cow. Matt Olson has to be getting player of the week. Has to be. This guy's numbers are off the charts. Look at these numbers. I mean, this guy is having a phenomenal year. Look at the year Matt Olson is having. Hitting .277, a .384 on base. What is that slugging? He's got a 603 slugging. He's got 48 homers, 121 RBIs. I'll tell you right now, if Ronald Acuna Jr. wasn't having the year that he's having, I mean, I feel like Matt Olson would be right there at the top. He has been phenomenal. I mean, let's go take a look at the leaderboards. I mean, the only thing that holds Matt Olson back is that he plays first base, and that's not really, a high-value position. But if you're looking at offense, I mean, Matt Olson, man. I mean, I know he is behind, guys like Freeman, Betts, Acuna too. But, man, he's got 48 homers. Dude's crazy. Just saying. I love what he's doing. But as for some of these other guys, let's go to the Braves. Rosario is hitting well. Acuna, we talked about him earlier with the whole Pirates thing. He's been hitting great still. Ronald Acuna Jr. is winning that MVP. I don't care what anyone says. He's winning that MVP. Michael Harris is second. He's been great. Murphy's been hitting well. Everything's just clicking. Starting pitching has been really good for the Braves. Max Fried, Bryce Elder pitching great. We mentioned earlier with the Super Chat, Max Fried, he's 5-0 since coming back from the IL. He's been great. Elder, he's 4-0 in his last 5 starts. Morton, Vines, they've been pitching well. Hey, there's no reason to even think about the Braves getting removed from this spot. So, another easy number 1 for this week. Sound FX is here. Braves still number 1 and are the first to yes, also forgot to mention that. Yes, first team to clinch a postseason spot. Thank you, Sound FX. Braves still number 1 and are the first team to clinch a postseason spot. Lost to the Cards. How? But beat the Pirates. Meh. At Philly for 4. Doubleheader tomorrow. Then 3 against Miami. Let's win the NL East. Hey, let's lock it up. Let's lock it up. I think it's pretty much done. I mean, they got to just get this done. The Braves look great. This team should do damage in the postseason. They should. I like this Braves team. I feel like when you just look at good teams, sometimes, I talked about the Phillies. Don't sleep on the Phillies. They got good pitching. Brewers could be like this weird team. Dodgers, they're really running low on some pitching right now. I feel like the biggest competition for the Braves in the postseason, it is the Phillies. Personally, I know anything can happen in the postseason, but the Phillies, to me, I mean, out of those other 2 teams, I think the Phillies are right there. I mean, when you're looking at the wild card, I mean, Cubs, D-backs, yeah, but I just feel like they're not there yet. The Phillies, to me, they're just so much more of a well-rounded team than the Dodgers and the Brewers. So I do think it's going to come down to the Braves and the Phillies in the National League. I'm just saying. American League, much different story. I don't know what to think about the American League. But the Braves, they look fantastic. Looks fantastic. BL3SS3D, if Outman stays hot, can he win Rookie of the Year? I hope so, because he was my preseason Rookie of the Year pick. Corbin Carroll, I don't think he's losing that. That's going to be Corbin Carroll's. But everyone, I'm out of here. If you can, hit that like button for me. Did we get to 150 likes? Did we do it? We're at 114. We just missed. Everyone, if you could hit that like button on the way out, I will love you forever. Subscribe if you are new. Hit the bell notification. Share the screen. Not the screen. The stream, the show, if you can. As you can see, everyone, it is time for bed. It's time for bed. I will be uploading a video tomorrow on the whole Mike Trout rumors. I got 5 teams that I think would be good fits for Mike Trout. Be on the lookout for that. This week, I will be uploading either how to fix the Padres or how to fix the Angels. I'll probably go with the Angels since everyone's kind of talking about the Mike Trout thing. So I would expect that one first. And then maybe I'll get to the Padres next. Next weekend, I will be coming out with one underrated player for each team. So be on the lookout for that. Again, I uploaded this past weekend on Saturday, the most surprising player for each team. So go check that out if you haven't already. So I'm going to be doing most underrated for each team next Saturday. And then the next Saturday, I'll be doing the most disappointing player on each team. And then we got all the playoff talk coming up. I'm excited. It's a good time for baseball right now, everyone. I appreciate you stopping by. Don't forget about our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. Go see if you can win yourself some cash, especially with football back. Use the promo code HYDE. You get a double on your first deposit up to $100. Link is in the description down below. Everyone, have yourself a great night. Have yourself a great week this coming week, and I'll talk to you next time.